All right, what's up, before? A little something different this time. I have a small BGS submission to go over. I just finished going over my $30 PSA submission that just got back, and I figured since I was doing some recordings, I might as well cover this BGS submission that I also got back pretty recently. Just a few cards, all Magic the Gathering, so if you're not interested in that, feel free to click off. But I figured I would go over them here. Some interesting stuff in there. I'll also take this opportunity to give a bit of a review for BGS in the current day in 2022. The TLDR, though, is they're not great unless you are committed to grading with BGS specifically to match a current collection. I really wouldn't recommend grading with them. Even Magic the Gathering cards, I might just go CGC if you're like just starting out or you're not super committed to BGS. I just think the quality of their service has really declined, both like on their website, their customer service, and then also the product that you're receiving. I'm not going to criticize their grading. Grading is of course subjective, and I think if you're going to BGS for super tight grading, I don't know what to tell you. That's not why I go to BGS. I don't think that's why a lot of people go to BGS. I think they're pretty uh, inconsistent. It's kind of par for the course for them, which again I think is honestly is fine. It has their service has a place, but I'm not gonna criticize their grading. I don't think their grading scales like change or whatever. It just is what it is. I'm gonna more talk a little bit about like my experience. So the first knock against them is our first card here, and this card actually came back ungraded because they thought it was altered. So I'll tell you a little bit about the card. This card is Collection Company. This is a store championship promo. Specifically, this is the first store championships that Wizards of the Coast did for Magic the Gathering after COVID. So 2021. This copy specifically is from a WPN premium store. So they held this tournament at pretty much every store across the country, but only WPN premium stores received the stamp variant. The stamp variant includes, for Collected Company, it says top 8. For the Wormcoil Engine, it says winner. And then it also includes the store that you played at. So this card is, basically, there are only 8 copies of this card that says Battlegrounds. Battlegrounds is a card shop in the greater Richmond, Virginia area, and that's where I went to play. It's not normally where I play, but they're the closest WPN to me, so that's where I went because I wanted to go for the stamp, and I did win, so good for me. Sucks that it came back ungraded. Like I said, BGS said it was inked. I have no idea why they thought it was inked. I looked at the card, it doesn't look inked. I won this card myself, put it into a sleeve, and then sent it to BGS. The other thing is like, no amount of inking is going to make this card look good. Anyone who won these, it might have just been the ones that got stamped because they probably had to like do extra stuff to the cards while they were still on the sheet or maybe like right after they were cut. This card I won, it came in terrible condition. Like the cut on the corners is crazy. It's almost square cut, super off center. There's like tons of silvering. Print lines, card almost looks fake, honestly. I really did think that there might be a chance they would send it back to me thinking it was like trimmed or something, or I don't know. The card's busted. I would not expect inked though. So I might call them and resubmit it and just be like, hey, like I'm the winner. I can even prove that I won it. So I don't know. Card's authentic and everything, not tampered with. Really wanted this in a slab. I thought I would get like a 5, honestly. I just wanted to get it in a slab. Maybe I should just keep it in my binder, honestly. Okay, enough about that. Let's get into the vintage. First up, we have an Alpha Heirloom Minotaur. This card got an 8.5. The big determining factor on this was the corners being an 8. Like I said, I'm not really going to criticize the grading at BGS. It's pretty inconsistent. I will say, though, that for Alpha, these corners are mint. They are really clean corners. Really, really nice. Like there's maybe a little something from the cut on this corner, but the rest of these corners are actually really dark, like no whitening or anything. And this card, when I bought it, I was kind of floored. Edges are 9.5 for an Alpha card. That's pretty crazy. Surface is a 9.5. Again, for an Alpha card, that's pretty crazy. There's no artifacts. Nothing like that. It's a really, really nice card. Centering is even pretty good. I mean, it's not, I don't think it's 9.5 centering, but I'm fine with the 9 grade. I was hoping that they would think that the corners were at least a 9, maybe a 9.5 even. Again, for alpha, this is kind of what the corners look like. I just kind of got dogged. But I'm not going to criticize it. It's just is what it is. I might get this GCR, like graded card review, but who knows. I have another alpha card GCR with them right now that I think should be bumped up to a 9.5. Not really a heavy alpha collector, but I bought this on eBay for like $40 because, like raw, because I was like, you just don't see mint alpha like that. And again, this card 8.5, but I think this card is mint. Okay. Up next, we got some antiquities. We got the Suchi, BGS 9. Love the art on this guy. Weird like brain snake thing. He's pretty cool. Christopher Rush, iconic. Centering is a 10, apparently. Edges were a 9.5. The thing that held this back from getting the 9.5 grade is either the corners or the surface. And like, I mean, the corners, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't see whitening, so I don't know. I think this is a 9.5, but I'll take it. I got this a while back. I got this in like 2018 or something, raw. Beautiful card. It is a card I want in 9.5 for my collection. All right, some legends. We've got the princess here, Lucrezia, no idea. I got this card just because it looked mint, and it was like $5. Mint legends, $5. Can't really complain. Whoops, excuse me. This is, yeah, I got an 8.5 grade. So, surface 10, centering 9.5, edges 9.5. Apparently the corners are 8. And like, there's definitely some whitening on this bottom corner. But you know, I kind of sent to BGS because I expect them to be easy on me. I don't know about 8 on this for a BGS 8 for the corners grade. So while I'm on this card, and you may have seen it on the other cards, although you may have not because it may be hard to catch up on camera. But while I'm on this card, I might as well just stop here. So I go to BGS for the case and the label and all that. And you may already be able to see some of the problems with their service, but the label's bent. The metallic paper label is bent on this, and I think it's bent on all of them. This one looks really bad though. It's worse, like it looks worse than the other ones that we've seen so far. And it also has like a big scratch on the case right there. It's not on the card, it's on the case. And it's kind of hard to pick up, so I don't know how well I'll be able to. Yeah, see a little speck in the case? There's a shitload of dust in these cases. There's another piece up there. And again, this is just one of the cards. There's a lot of junk on this case. There's junk on the inner, scratches on the inner sleeve that they use. And I'm all for the inner sleeve. But you gotta keep that stuff, like, this is not on the case. There's like a scratch on the inner sleeve. Like, come on, y'all. And it's not cheap to grade these cards. I mean, I sent these in bulk. I spent like $35 per slab here. Like, you know, that's not cheap. Oh, that's so blurry. Sorry about that. I spent a lot of money for these slabs, and I do it because I'm cool with it because the slab is honestly more premium. At least it should be. It's thick, it's heavy, it has this metallic, heavy paper, subgrades, inner sleeve. Like I want the whole thing. And this just wasn't the experience I was hoping to get. On to the next one. This is a pretty nice card. I've got a Chromium. This is my favorite Magic the Gathering card, or at least it's close. I say this is Blue Eyes Before Blue Eyes. Wow, it's very blurry. There we go. It's like Blue Eyes Before Blue Eyes. I just love the like robotic dragon made as silver. I'm after this card in a 9.5. I think this card was graded very accurately. So I didn't think this was necessarily had a good shot at a 9.5. I think The centering is what was going to hold it back, and I thought maybe BGS would just let me through in a 9 grade. You can see the rest of the card is really nice. Edges 9.5, surface 10, corners 9.5. This card is really pack fresh. Centering is a really big problem with Legends. I have 2 of the 5 Elder Dragon in 9.5. I need this one. This is like the one I want the most. This was my best candidate. Didn't get there. I have a couple in 9. Maybe one of them one day I'll crack out and try again. All right, so then I have some, I think these are Chronicles. Yeah, Japanese Chronicles. So with Magic the Gathering, reprint sets are white border, and Chronicles is a reprint set, but if it's the first time that the card was printed in a given language, or for that given region, they will give it the black border because it's kind of like their first edition. It's like their first print in Japanese of Palladium Wars. So they'll give it the black border. So it's a way to cheaply get black border cards. White border cards don't look the best in a lot of people's opinion. And a cheap way to get black border cards, cheaper at least, is to go for FBB, or foreign black border. And so this is a Chromium from Chronicles. A white border English copy is not worth very much. Honestly, this card is also not worth a ton. This card got an 8.5 on the corners, and I don't see a single problem with any of the corners. I sent these off because they were really clean. I got these off of, and that's what kept it from the 9.5. I got these off Star City Games for like $2 a piece, like in 2017 or something like that. And by these, of course, I mean more Japanese Chronicles. This one got the 9.5. They decided the corners were good enough. I agree. In fact, I think the corners on this one are actually a little worse than the corners on the other one. Although they're 9.5 for sure, just like the other one. I have this in English Legends as a 9.5, so feeling good. I got graded those because whatever, they look nice. This one got an 8.5. Again, I really was sure that these Japanese ones would get 9.5s. All of them. This one, again, apparently the corners are an 8. Maybe that's why it's an 8. But the thing about these is, again, like, there's so much junk in the case. This one's actually not as bad. The foils that I'm going to get to are the ones that make me nervous. I'll just zip through this one. BGS 9. Alright, so there's 3 cards left. These are all English foils from the early 2000s. These cards are really hard to grade. I don't really try to grade them because, like, buying raw vintage foils is a fool's errand, like, if you want 9.5s. But I did buy some pack fresh, I guess they're pack fresh. I bought some cards, English foils, from someone in Japan, and they just never played with them, never used them because they're English, and the surfaces of these foils are actually really nice. So I took the best of them. I had like maybe 10 of them. I took the best and I graded these 3. And I'll save the best one for last. I'll just save the best one for last. Okay. So we have Enormous Baloth. This card, I graded because it was in really good condition. This card is special to me. My very first card when I started playing Magic the Gathering was an Enormous Baloth. It was actually a foil Enormous Baloth that my friend gave me. And that card I still have. I got it signed by Mark Teeden. And it's one of the most important cards in my collection. I really love the art on this. The flavor text was like super funny to me when I was like a kid. Yeah, just super cool card. Really happy to have this in a 9.5. Hard to grade these foils. Just got lucky that one of the cards the guy had was a Baloth. Really insane grades on this. The edges got a 9. I can see that with the foils. There's the cut's a little rougher because of the foil layer on Magic cards. It's like not as beautiful on that one, but the surface is a 10, which if you know anything about Magic the Gathering vintage foils, you know how crazy that is. And the centering is also a 10, so I'm really happy with this card. And honestly, it makes up for any of the silliness in any of the previous cards. This one, Tainted Peak. This is Torment, right? Yeah, Tainted Peak. These cards are actually, anyone who plays, I think these cards are like pretty cool and underrated. Like basically free dual lands if you're playing black, and the art's awesome. Giving this like cool foil. Tainted Peak's sick. Really cool. Good grade. Again, edges, you got a bit of a rough cut on the foils. You have a lot. This one has like some of that extra material, kind of. Anyone who is familiar with the cards will know what I'm talking about. Centering is really good. Surface is 9.5. Again, really hard to get. Just a beautiful card. And then this is the big one. When I bought this, I had no idea that I would be getting a gradable card, and I don't know. I love this guy. Rorik's Bladewing. Yeah. Not a lot needs to be said. Legendary Dragon. One of the pit fighters in the Onslaught block. You got this guy going up against Sylvos and Kamal, and you got Bladewing in there, and then Bladewing dies and becomes Bladewing the Risen in the story, and he has like a great grandkid, Terox, in Future Sight or whatever, 1,000 years later. Yeah, this guy's super awesome. 9.5 grade on a vintage foil like this is just an unreal grade. I don't know. I just love collecting vintage foil dragons from Magic the Gathering. I have a ton, including a lot of Rorix's, and this one just came so clean. I knew I had to grade it, and I'm so happy I got a 9.5. This is definitely top tier card for me in my Magic the Gathering collection. Just in terms of like, it's right up my alley. It's extremely difficult to grade. It's the best grade. I mean, obviously it could be better, but it is a 9.5. Yeah, this really made this up for me. So, some of the issues with the service aside, this makes it kind of all worth it. So, in conclusion, BGS, kind of rough right now. They're not maybe the smartest graders. Assembly has some issues. There's a lot of crud in these cases, a lot of scratches. Some of the like this label looks fine. There's like a little bit of warp to it, but no real bend. And then this one is bent. I actually saw on eBay, somebody posted something, and the label was touching the card. It graded like a 9 or 9.5, and the label was like falling, tilting down outside of where it's supposed to sit, touching the card, and I was just aghast. I don't know what's going on with BGS. Like, these are really rough. Like the way they're like, the piece art is not breaking cleanly out of the mold. I don't know. So I wouldn't recommend grading with BGS unless you're like fishing for the black label on modern cards, or you are committed to BGS for your personal collection for any reason. If you're thinking, oh, what grading company should I grade my Magic the Gathering, my Yu-Gi-Oh, my Pokemon, even your sports cards. I mean, I'm not a sports person, but I assume sports cards too. I just wouldn't grade with them. The other thing I'll say about the service, their customer service is very bad. They don't really reply very quickly, and they kind of don't really answer the questions that I ask them, like even simple things like, you know, what's the status of my service? They just say like your service, your item's being worked on. They kind of like, they're not very helpful. And when I actually went to do another BGS submission that's currently with them right now, on their new website, their submission form is honestly a joke. It's like, if you use like a Google form, it's basically a Google form. It's not like PSA where you type in the card and then it like creates a line item, or like you search the card. That's what it used to be on their old site. You would search the card, search the set, and create a line item, let them know how many you have, basically just like PSA. Now it's just a Google form. So you're typing in the name basically to the best of your ability and then hitting enter, and like comma space variable style. And it's terrible. The tracker doesn't work. My bulk order said that it was complete 48 hours after they received it. I emailed them about that. They haven't gotten back to me. I have no idea what's going on. It's definitely not complete. The tracker doesn't work. I don't know. I can't, in good conscience, recommend them. So I think they're like on sale right now. Lower price. I don't know. Maybe they're just trying to get rid of the old slabs before they change the slabs to those new ugly as shit slabs. So if you need your cards graded by them for whatever godforsaken reason like I do, get them out the door now before they switch this dude case and it gets even worse. All right, enough being negative. Thanks for watching. See you around.